I'm really excited about today. We are in the Chugach Mountains outside of Anchorage. And today we have one mission. Gather just a few really high quality landscape photos of the first light coming up on the Chugach Mountains right over here. It's an absolutely gorgeous morning here. It's about 15 degrees. It's just before sunrise or right at sunrise. We've got about a 2-mile hike to the top, to the summit of Little O'Malley, maybe 2.5. Do I have too much gear? Yes. Is the hike gonna be a little bit challenging? Probably. Am I really looking forward to it? Absolutely. I feel like there's already so much light coming that I'm feeling late. But the thing about Alaska is that in the winter, we get really long sun, long low sunrises and long low sunsets. It's beautiful for photography because you get that long, soft, low light, long shadows, and it just really lights everything up and makes for some really unique contours on landscape. So we're gonna check it out. We're gonna see how it goes. Photography for me has been a lifelong passion, but lately it felt like I'd hit a wall. I'd become jaded by the process. Go out, take hundreds of photos, sort, edit, store them away on a hard drive, again and again. But perfect winter hiking conditions have drawn me out among the trails of the Chugach Mountains, just outside my hometown of Anchorage, Alaska. Little O'Malley itself is right over here. It's about 1.5 to 2 mile hike from here that switchbacks up this trail system here. And it's absolutely beautiful out here today. And what I love about this type of photography is its simplicity. I could literally be pointing my camera in any direction up here and just taking photos after photos after photos, and they'd all be pretty good. But what I really want to do today is make beautiful photos. Make images that are well thought out, well composed, and I might only come away with 2 or 3 or 4 images, but each one ideally will be good photos of light, composition, and really capture these beautiful mountains. With almost 1,500 feet of elevation ahead of me, it's time to start climbing into the foothills of the Chugach Mountains, the sprawling wilderness playground right on the eastern edge of town. It's about to get quite a bit steep here, so probably won't be able to talk too much. But we need to get to the top because the light is starting to move around. I'm going to be in the right spot when the light comes to. Because you remember, no matter what you're photographing, you're always photographing the light. Nothing happens without the light. That's the star of the show today. Legs and lungs officially burning now as the trail quickly climbs up through a series of switchbacks toward the Little O'Malley summit. Now would be a good time for a confession. I don't actually do a lot of winter hiking, and I have to say footing is not great. A lot of slipping on the steep parts, but it's challenging. I think it's gonna be worth it, but we're earning it today. And still, the views just keep getting better and better. Every view a reminder of the incredible places the craft of photography can take you. All right, I'm just below the summit, right up there, up this little boulder field. The sun is really flooding in. I was worried I was too early. I'm hoping I'm not too late now for that morning sun. I'm absolutely drenched in sweat right now, which is the opposite of what I thought I would be. So, no wind, absolutely no wind, which is great for us. .360-degree views of mountains, and that, I have to say, was kind of brutal. The switchbacks at the end, the boulders, the unstable footing, whew. I'm pretty whipped, but that's all the climbing for today. Now we get to just focus on finding some nice compositions, enjoying the windless, warm time up at the summit, And like I said, it's absolutely beautiful. If you can't find a good photo up here, what am I doing? There's of course an obvious photograph right behind me, which I may well grab. But I'm trying to be a little more thoughtful, a little more creative, a little more diligent about my compositions here. I've got what I would consider to be kind of a safe composition here, framing the rocks coming up the peak and the city in the background. Gonna do probably a 3-image focus stack to where I change my focal length to the distant infinity, to the middle ground, and to the rocks in the front, and then stack the photos in Lightroom. Two-second timer. It's not probably my favorite composition, but again, it's a safe first photo. We're gonna walk along this ridge just a little further and see what else we can see.
I have to admit, I'm wondering what I was thinking with this composition. While the diagonal lines do draw the eye, the rocks are simply too dominant, the city skyline too far off in the distance to grab the attention. But sometimes you've just got to get a photo out of the way so you can calm down and pay attention to where you are.
All right, we've got a really interesting composition here. That is the ridge that leads up to O'Malley, the proper O'Malley Peak, the big triangular peak you can see from town. And it's a really contrasty, really bright light on one side and really shadowy on the other. But I think I might be able to get away with it. I'm kind of hoping that the sun will come around and put a little more light on the top of that peak, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. But I'm at f11, about 125, ISO 100, I hope. And yes, so should be a nice clean image. And again, we'll probably focus stack it here, but it's just not the perfect light, but that's sometimes what you get, right? This is why it's a practice, because we're always looking for that perfect image, but it doesn't always come. And but I think this is still going to be pretty nice.
Standing on a knife edge, high above the city of Anchorage, in a landscape that's so pristine, it's almost strangely difficult to photograph.
There was just another hiker in the distance walking on this ridge, and you know, this type of place is often a place where you need scale, and I managed to make one quick image of this person standing in kind of a pool of light underneath the dark ridge, the dark mountain in the shadow. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting image.
Feeling somewhat overwhelmed by the expansive beauty around me, I decided to stitch together a series of images into a panoramic photo featuring the ridge leading up to O'Malley Peak, the dominant peak in this part of the Chugach Mountains.
Man, it's absolutely gorgeous and still with 360-degree views up here. Cannot ask for a better day. A little bit of harsh light, but I'm not complaining. Absolutely beautiful up here. And I sometimes forget, you know, this is my backyard. This is Alaska. This is where I live. And wow, yeah, just beautiful. I've made probably 4 or 5 different images. None of them spectacular in a compositional sense. In a scenery and beauty sense, they're incredible. I wish the light was a little different, but that's how it goes sometimes. camera is a passport to all sorts of places, and if you let it, it will take you to some spectacular locations. There's so much to discover here, there's so much to find, there's so much to photograph, and even if today is not the perfect light or the perfect conditions, another day will be. And the key is to just get out there, to practice, to continue to look for compositions, learn, make mistakes, and grow as a photographer. So I'll be heading down soon. I'll put the camera gear away for safety most likely, and we may look for a couple other images on the way down.
One more bonus photo on the way down. The rolling meadows in the foothills of the Chugach Mountains, which, ironically, might be my favorite photo of the entire session.
We made it back. The car was 5 miles on the dot almost, plus a little bit of goofing around at the top that I didn't record, so a little more than 5 miles. Beautiful day for Little O'Malley. Happy-ish with some of the images, but you can't beat a day out in the mountains like that. I'm absolutely exhausted after that climb and hauling the gear up to the top of the mountain. So excited to go home and see the family and take a look at these images. But yeah, can't beat a morning of photography in the mountains. You always learn something new. You always discover something new. You always find a new way to use a different tool. You find a new way to look at a composition. And I think most of what I got today will be probably good black and white images, since it was so contrasty and there's not a lot of color in the scene anyways. But we'll just take a look and see. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this photo walk, coming along on the ride and taking a little trip into the wilderness in Alaska. Absolutely beautiful out there. So until next time.